Welcome back, everybody. The party traveling down the trail towards the very small river town of Middam. Anything anybody would like to do before you make your way into the town square, as small as it may be, itself?
While we
go.
Okay. While we're riding along, I am making a point to recover my bow. I have some long strips of fabric that I'm winding around the bow, and I'm kind of trusting the horse to follow along with the group as I make sure to cover it so that no light manages to touch it.
Perfect.
Whereabouts are we? Are we like entering, or are we just before entering the town?
You're before entering the town. Yep, you're coming kind of, I would say you would have maybe less than half a mile before you'd be actually like, I don't know, technically in town, but you're just outside. From what you can tell, it's a lot of just little farmland, very simple houses, but like decently well kept. Like the land is well kept. As small and not as bustling as it is compared to Silver Rain, the capital city. It's neat. It's as clean as it can be for a riverside farming village, but pretty small village.
Are there anyone that we're passing on the road?
There are a few in your way up or way down, I guess, here. There have been a few caravans of people, some who seem to just be traveling to sell wares, some traveling to do business with Silver Rain, or maybe even Mailfair itself, making their way to the coast, or some just look like traveling families with just like all of their belongings.
Hey, Slag Tongue.
What?
Can you rest for a second?
A second?
Wanna-
We're right there. I thought we was going to the tavern.
True. But I need like a second to kind of get my energy back after that battle and whatnot, just in case, that some guards don't like us.
Listen, all you gotta do is play like you've got nothing to hide. And you got nothing to hide. Realistically, what do we got to hide? We're on a mission. Who fucking cares? I don't know. We're just an adventuring party traveling through the lands, that's all. We need to continue our investigation anyway. We need to find out if a big troop of fucking Parthens made their way up through here. So as it goes...
Parthens are across the country.
Parthens are everywhere, but a troop that would have escorted our King Cunt himself. Not the actual king, I'm talking about Morkir, our current hunting person. If a troop of them left Silver Rain, we want to know if they headed up this way. Because more than likely, where that cunt himself buggered off to using his whiz-gig magic stuffs to teleport right out of there, his men are eventually going to corral to where he is. We hunt them down, they lead us right to him. They had to hoof it. They didn't get to go in that little teleportation circle that he formed. So they hoof it, we hoof right behind them, they lead us right to him. I think that's our best bet. It's good a lead as any.
So, are we passing people while he's saying this?
They're not like within. I mean, you guys are like within your own little group. It's like just it would appear as if anything, you're not in the actual town square itself yet. You're still riding up towards it. So it wouldn't be like nobody would be like, oh God, they're doing it. No, nobody's near enough. He wouldn't be just saying that out loud. Yeah.
Oh, he's
just to you
dropping.
guys.
Okay.
Nobody's eavesdropping on that.
I have a question just kind of for now, and as we get into Middam. The people that we're passing, does it seem like any of them are a little bit hasty and or have fresh burn wounds?
Roll
including to like
perception.
their card. Okay. Absolutely terrible. 11.
With 11, you didn't see any kind of like burns or anything like that. It was hard to tell the exact mood that everybody was having in the travel.
My passive is 22, if that helps.
With,
in any way.
Not in this case. It would be something that you would be like intentionally looking for. I would say that it's hard to distinguish between just the general weariness of travel in the first place. Nobody likes to be on the road for days on end, especially when you have all of your shit in tow. It's not often that you see normal folk with all of their stuff, and in the number that you've seen, even one is rare, but to see 2 or 3 like you have in your travel is different.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think Veronica is frozen.
Yeah, I think she is, yeah.
She's been frozen for a little bit.
Her camera stopped working, so
her eyes roll back in her head.
I'm just in a trance.
Oh my god.
Okay, so it's just
I can still hear everything. Yeah, I don't know what's.
Yeah, it's just gonna be on a little smiley face for the rest of the stream. That's fine. All right. Oh, if you can turn it back on. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, it's nope.
There we go. It's okay if it's frozen as long as it doesn't mess up the order.
There we go.
Now.
Okay.
Seems good.
It's slow, but
okay, that's all right. You're just out of sync. Yeah, I knew you were a robot. You tried to hide it for so long, but I'm onto you.
I knew it.
I knew it. All right. So it's up to anybody else if you want to try to oblige with Talon and his taking a rest. I'm by no means is Lewin the voice of reason in all of this.
Good God, I hope not.
With the conversation, Liliana's gonna she's going to turn her head over her shoulder and just say, right here. We might as well just make it. You can have a place to sleep as long as you need. But time is very valuable here.
And I think among all of us, we've got enough in our reserves that if something does go south, we'd probably be able to pick up the slack, even if we're not individually at full power.
As we enter the town, Holston, can Liliana keep an eye out for soldiers wearing green, gatherings, that sort of thing? I think she'd be keeping a keen eye for it.
Sure. Okay. Making your way into Middam. Getting closer. It is more apparent how much of just a small riverside town it is. More so on your side are there houses and farmsteads, more so than the other side of the river, but there is a nice well crafted bridge. It stands out among that stands out apart from the other buildings in this location as like that was a king ordained bridge, not and now kind of upkept by this this village itself. But it stands out with its stonework and richness compared to the rest of the place, but by no means squalor, just simple. Heading in kind of into it's hard to distinguish any kind of like town square from any other place, but what appears to be more of like a market, farmer's market stead, off to your right as you enter the town. Not seeing any green or parthens or anything like that. Off to the right is a very simple but obvious tavern. It has the coloration of gold and green and white and black on the sign as striped, and it says the Sorry Duck Inn.
We're just staying the night, right? As she turns to Lewin.
It depends on any kind of leads we get here. It wouldn't hurt to, through normal conversation as much as it have, see if we can get any kind of information, particularly on the group of Parthens, if they made their way through here and which way they seem to be going.
No need for a stable. Just hitch the horses here and rest. As she'll turn the horse and trot to an open space to where we can put the horses.
There are hitching posts on kind of around the side, already some other horses along this like larger alley that's intended for it. It has a little registrar that you would sign off just to kind of validate, like, I put my horse here, and just has like brief description place where you can like describe your own horse and sign your name to it in case, it gets stolen. But it feels like a safe neighborhood. They seem like honest folk.
DM.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're kind of a little bit paranoid, I hope you'll excuse me by asking to see if I notice a couple more things that Liliana kind of reminded me of. Number one, if there are any sort of like green fabric cloaks or anything on like a clothesline, since we're kind of in farmland. Just kind of thinking maybe that's where Parthens might be staying or using as some sort of residence. Number two, when we were going through the market, if anybody saw us and immediately kind of got up and like hustled out of there, kind of thing.
Nope. Nobody seemed to pay much mind to your guys' entry. If even, there's not a whole lot of people out and about.
Okay, great.
On your way in, there was certainly people working the fields, probably coming close to winding down their day as you guys are approaching kind of like the later end of the day after the morning that you had. So
wonderful.
Probably most people out in the fields or already in their homes having dinner, perhaps.
Okay, I'll help Talon with his horse hitching.
Could use a drink.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead.
No, it's just yes.
I'll note that Liliana will remove her mask and her hood when she approaches the tavern.
Anybody good at getting information like we need? Casual roundabout way of me mentioning that maybe an army of fucking Parthens made their way through here. I'm not exactly the most eloquent of us.
I could try.
Drunk enough.
Maybe that's the play. We get somebody drunk enough and we get information that way. Be like, well, let me tell you about the fucking Parthens, and then just see where it goes from there, right?
Lewin, maybe as a last resort, if we can get them in private, if you have a good lead,
Yeah,
I have a way
put a
of
knife
making
to the
them
throat. Yeah.
definitely telling the truth.
Yeah, I have a way of doing that too. Kind of taps his hip where the dagger is.
Also, it might not be quite as useful here, but while we're on the road, tracking's sort of what I do. And if we know what sort of equipment they're likely moving with or what their numbers are, then I can use that to try to determine what roads they've been down, especially if they go off the beaten path.
Right. I mean, it's hard to do so much on the village. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but once we get out on the road, maybe we'll be able to, if we get a lead that day, head it this or that way.
Hey, it's a lot easier whenever it's not quite so,
Already travelled, yeah.
Hey.
That makes sense. Not that I know a whole lot about trekking. I know a whole lot about the way people think, but not a whole lot about the way their feet, leave grooves in the ground.
Good news about soldiers is that they tend to trust in their armor such that they don't think to step lightly. And the weight of that iron or steel is enough to leave quite an impression.
And they don't care. They stumble through woods, breaking branches, leaving marks on trees. They're easy to follow.
Aye.
If it was a troop of 50 to 100 men like we suspect it was, at least from the intel that I was given by the Queen Cunt herself, I think it won't be too hard to track down a party of that size. It's more than your average group of Parthens, especially if they're heading away from the battle and not towards it.
You keep saying that word and you keep using it in different contexts. What does it actually mean?
Which one?
Cunt.
Cunt?
Hey.
Well,
If you've used it as a compliment,
word.
you've used it as an insult, and
Right, it's a very versatile fucking word. That's why it's my favourite. Gets a lot of points across. Sometimes it gets you in trouble, but if you say it to the wrong cunt, and not a good cunt, they might not like it.
you didn't answer my question.
What's that?
What's it fucking mean?
Well, you see, I've got a dick, right?
I suppose you do.
Yeah. Some among us don't got one of them. They got a cunt.
Liliana's gonna go up and punch him square in the stomach and walk into the tavern.
That's a very enlightening observation. And on that note, Avelina, or no, not Avelina, Liliana. Right, sorry, a lot of yas. And I will follow after Liliana into the tavern.
Alan's already in there. Like, he just wants his drink.
Without looking back, she will proclaim, "Just call me Lily."
Gladly.
I'm gonna start scanning the room for any suspicious people, anybody that stands out, anybody that looks familiar. Really getting the vibe.
The vibe of the tavern, there's a group about the size of yours, kind of tucked away in their own little corner. Some sitting, some like kind of kneeling. They got some dice that they're rolling. Quietly hooting and hollering amongst themselves. Aside from that, other kind of just a couple kind of at the bar, a lone individual off in the other corner of up by the bar. But they seem to be those three separate groups of individuals. This bar does have a barmaid and then also the barkeep himself.
I want to keep an eye on the lone person in the corner.
This individual seems to have their hood not necessarily up, but just kind of like frowed up to the back of their head to kind of like tuck away, but they're kind of just keeping to themselves. They have a large tankard that they sip out of every now and then. With their right hand, they're kind of stirring over some meat and potatoes that they're just kind of picking at with their fork.
Approach the barmaid or the barkeep, and
the barkeep is
some
kind of
rooms.
like, or the barmaid is kind of over giving another round of drinks to that group of 6 individuals over there. And the barkeep is there just filling tankards and washing cups.
Chronologically, so since Talon was in there, he's just going to go up and he's going to pay for a pint for everyone in the crew.
That's gonna be 6 plus 6 times 5 copper. Math.
30.
6 times 5 copper is 30 copper. Okay. Bet.
Numbers are hard. They really are. My brain good at other things, but not the number ones. Not the numbering.
It's a good thing D&D Beyond is here to help us. Thanks, D&D Beyond.
They roll my dice for me. Do all that hard maths. Addition, multiplication. Huh.
I'm just gonna, as each of the members come up, just hand them one. I just got some generic ale. Thought I'd treat us to some, well, I want to get drunk after today, so. And he's gonna go try to find a table, maybe bumping into
there with you. You see that the tables are round tables. There's not enough. There's none that are like a 6-person table. So you, with that, you'd have to like bring 2 together. You see that in the center of these tables is like a full-on stump, and there's a bunch of like marks and as if like it's been hacked at and stabbed countless times within these tables. Between Talon and Liliana, roll a history check, actually.
I am history.
I would say you can go ahead too, but do a with disadvantage. I'm trying to make sense of who would know something and who wouldn't. So like with your like mostly isolation.
It's very kind. I just wanted to be old for a second. But yeah.
I just want to be old.
So with disadvantage.
No, it would be him. He would be with disadvantage. You're not disadvantaged.
Oh, he would. Okay, so he would be at this disadvantage. So that's a 13 for me.
And Talon?
8.
And you have a 2. Liliana, you vaguely, the marks in the wood stock, you at least know that it from time to time items will just go into them. You can't remember exactly the reasoning for that. That's
Something's there, but she's on the cusp. Not quite. I'm gonna follow Talon and help him put the tables together. But I want to make sure my back is towards a wall when I sit.
Yep, sure. Yeah, you guys kind of pick a corner. While that other group was over on the left, it's a pretty small tavern, so it's they're like right there on the left. You guys are right there on the right as you come in. Maybe 20 feet ahead is where that bar is. Off in that left corner is that couple. Up in the right corner is the lone individual.
If you would allow, I would. Liliana will be trying to read their mouths.
Go ahead and roll a perception check with disadvantage. With a high DC.
It's just like as we're sitting there. So with disadvantage, I doubt I'm gonna. Yeah, so that's a 7 with perception. So no.
Yeah, you're not able to pick up most of what you can gather from their conversation. It seems to be just general banter. Every now and then, like one of them will like tap the other one or whatever, and like look at the rolls or whatever. They all do appear to be equipped. They do have weapons. The cloaked individual seems to be unarmed. The couple over in the corner seems to be unarmed as well. But most of the individuals over on that party of 6 are armed to some degree.
As our crew is kind of starting to sit down, and I don't think Talon would notice that Liliana is scoping people out. As people start to sit down, he's going to take a big swig. What a fight.
A bloody fucking good show that was.
All I gotta say, Farron, what the fuck was up with that bow?
What the fuck was that?
I suppose I'm not surprised that you haven't seen something like that before. Well, all right, now's as good a time as any. I'll go ahead and pull the bow off of my back. And how long, from the time that we were writing, do you think that was enough time that it's been wrapped up?
Oh yeah,
that
I would say from probably
okay.
If you had done it before entering the village and like shortly after the fight, you would have had time. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll start unwrapping it. Have you ever heard of a mean lock?
DM, have I heard of a mean lock?
Roll a nature check.
A nature check.
I'd like to roll one as well, if possible.
Everybody can, if you would like to see if it's something that you would know. I would say just nature.
15.
9.
With a 15, not super familiar with it. You know, it is some kind of creepy colleague chitin creature of some sort.
Can't say that I have. I've maybe heard the name. Maybe one of my colleagues went out.
From my understanding, for most folks, they're stories. But where I come from, there's all sorts of interesting creatures up the mountains, and my village specialized in making equipment from their components. Mean locks, they live in darkness. They're in caves, usually, and they have the ability to teleport from shadow to shadow. They are absolutely nasty. This, and I hold up the bow and gesture to the large arc on either side, is actually made from 2 of the claws. So imagine if you've got the ugliest looking insect or crustacean you can imagine, and then make it as big as a man, and smart enough to actually put up a decent fight and really fuck with your brain if you let it. But
my eyes aren't so good. Would it be okay if I touch?
Oh, I apologize, and I'll hand it over.
It's gonna. touch
feels,
kind of playing into the...
It feels tough. There's in some parts a smooth texture, in other parts like almost like barbed nature to it. But for the most part, like it's kind of smooth. Nothing real pokey, but I mean like almost like a bumped areas. Like if you can imagine almost like deer antlers, like where like at the base they have like those kind of bumps, that kind of thing.
Essentially, one of our best made that for me. It was one of the first things that a friend of mine and I hunted. We were still pretty small, pretty wee, and we got lost in the caves and had to take that down to get out. So it's a good reminder, good memory.
So your clan, you make these weapons, these items, and you gain the ability of that said creature?
Oh, I sold the bow. I just know how to use it. There are certain magics that we've learned from the land that we've passed down. And especially if you train as a hunter, then there's a lot that you can learn from the elders. So it's a culmination of those traditions and the equipment that we make from the creatures that live there that's how we stayed there for so long.
Fox J, with your passive perception, you kind of recognize just one of the individuals of the six, kind of like leaning, kind of covering half their face, kind of like this, with kind of leaning on it, almost just like on their face. An individual with like multiple scars kind of across their face. They have these kind of bright amber eyes, very elven features, but hair covering the ears, so we can't confirm whether they're elven or half elven or even human with just sharper features. But they seem kind of interested, as Farron describes their bow.
How far apart are the tables?
They would be about 15 foot away from you.
I will get my tankard and go like, a cheers to a good fight.
Lewin instantly comes in for that to cheer.
And then when I bring it back to my lips, I'm going to say I'm sitting next to Farron, because I also want to know about the bow, and here we are. And without drinking, I'm just gonna go, kind of give that description back. Just, man, scar, amber eyes, sharp features. Very interested in what you have to say.
I will tap twice on the side of my mug as sort of a understood.
And then I will just kind of give like a hearty slap to your shoulder, like we just like, combat kind of thing, and give you guidance for anything that you might do in the next minute.
Having kind of trailed off and taken on a noticeably more somber face, I will kind of lower the mug, take another drink, set it back down, and then reach to take my bow back. Instead of putting it on my back, setting it across my lap, kind of running my hands over it. And as I do so, just kind of look up and try to notice the person who has been pointed out, and see if there's anything familiar about them, or if it seems like they're just scoping me.
Roll a perception check. How discreet are you trying to be about this?
Discreet. I can try to do it stealthily if you would like for me to. Okay. So for the stealth check, that is 24.
You have a D4 if you want it on either of those.
the 24, you're able to kind of look at somebody across the table that would kind of point you in their direction, and kind of just in your peripheral vision gather enough that they might not be looking at you at this moment, but you would have to like look to know for sure.
And then for perception, that is a 19 on the die for a total of 25.
25. With the 25, you see the individual that that Foxjay was referring to in this case. The something else that you kind of notice is that the individual has kind of shifted in their seat a little bit, so as if to unobscure their view of you guys. He shifted over in his seat to just like be able to like keep an eye on you guys. Isn't currently, kind of has 2 fingers kind of like covering his eyes as he just kind of like not necessarily involved in the conversation that's going on at the table with the fellow mates. And in a moment in your kind of gauging their features, nothing seems familiar, and then his eyes glance back up to yours, whether you decide to look away or continue.
Keep looking.
After a moment, the individual averts their gaze.
I will take another drink and just sit on that information.
Can I make my way to the bar after I told Farron what I told them?
Sure.
And I want to get closer to the couple. By couple, can you describe them again? Like
they seem to be a kind of a younger actual couple, a messy brunette guy and a nicer kept long-haired brunette woman. They seem to just kind of just be playfully enjoying each other's company, quietly. Seem to be on like some kind of date, but like just kind of casually. He seems like he might have just finished a a day of work, and whether it's his girlfriend or wife, they seem to be pretty young, so probably not quite married yet. But
I'll down my drink as I'm going up to the bar. By the way, this is such a niche question, but since I'm a cleric of Abystius, Lord of the Drink, does that give me any cool like alcohol benefits whatsoever? Okay, cool. So go up to the bar. You can drink
alcohol as healing potions.
Oh my god.
It's canon. No, I'm kidding.
Here we go. I'm going to start crying on my way to the bar.
As one does.
Excuse me, barkeep, and I'm gonna like slide a gold across the bar. Excuse me.
Yeah. No.
Would you mind a refill, please? It's a special date for me. And could I bother you for a candle?
I'm sure I got one lying around. Yeah. What's the special occasion? You're good.
By the way, I'm keeping an ear out to the couple just to kind of see what they were talking about when I started, what their vibe is, anything like that. If it seems a little too generic, or if there's anything else going on, more on that later.
It seems like it's very generic conversation. They don't seem to be talking about anything interesting. Nothing that really gathers your interest. Roll a perception check, though, on top of that.
Okay, more on this later. So this is going to be an ongoing thing. Okay. 21.
With the 21, he seems to be just talking about the field work that he did that day. How he's like exhausted. He kind of jokes that he could really use a massage. And she kind of like laughs and giggles, leans in.
Okay.
And depends on how long you're staying up there.
Oh yeah. Just a few minutes. I was like, yeah, the occasion. It's my anniversary. Well, it was my anniversary to my late wife.
Oh,
She was.
sorry to hear that.
Yes, we usually shared a drink at whatever bar that we happened to find ourselves at. And when I get the candle, I'll light it.
Cool. He slides your gold back towards you. Mourn well, friend.
And then I'll light the candle. If I could just also have maybe an empty tankard, just for the memory of it all.
Sure, friend.
And then a little bit more drunkenly than I actually am, I'm going to kind of nudge to the couple, like, you remind me so much of us. So long ago.
The man kind of notices her like look at you because she's more facing you and she's turning like to her right to see you over there, whatever. She kind of like leans and to like engage in conversation. She seems kind of like smiley and open to it. He kind of like is like turns like being interrupted kind of thing, like, but still has a somewhat friendly demeanor about it. But continue.
Perfect. Sometimes when I drink on this day, I can still feel her around me. And I'm going to cast thaumaturgy. Sometimes when I just say her name, only vocal components, by the way. Ocean. And the flame on the candle is just going to turn blue. Ah, there she is. With me as always. And I'm going to, like, thank you, friend, grab the gold, like, kind of slide it off the bar, toss it onto the ground like I just missed because I'm really old and decrepit. And I was like, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. And then I'm going to go to the floor, and then I'm going to check out their shoes to see if there's blood on them.
Blood on whose shoes?
The couple shoes.
The couple shoes? There is no blood on the couple shoes. There's some mud on his shoes. She has just a little bit of dirt on hers, but hers are mostly, he's got his like work boots. They're in good shape. They're tough and sturdy, but they definitely got some wear and tear on them. He's definitely put in some work in them. Her lesser so. As nice as they are for simple shoes, they're a little bit dirty, just on the bottoms, a little bit up the sides, but that's it. Just kicking up the dirt of the lesser cobblestoned road of this smaller village.
Okay. I'll get back up to, oh, excuse me. I'm very tired. The next one's on me, and I'll, like, in the empty tankard, throw the gold in there and push it to the couple.
He kind of just like nods and smiles to you. She kind of like flashes a big toothy smile towards you.
And then I'll just mouth to her, like, kind of like if she's closest to me, as I'm backing away and only she can see me and his vision is blocked by her, just go, you can do better. And then just go back to the door.
Sure.
And when I get back to the table, go, oh, that's a nice couple. I don't think they're anything to worry about. One down.
Some high quality fucking espionage, mate. You keep that up, it's gonna start looking suspicious, creepy old man walking around now.
Thank you.
It's effective if used sparingly, I imagine.
Yeah, no.
Falling on the floor, yes. My knees can't take it. So I'm just going to rest here for a long while.
while Foxjay has been off doing this, basically, like, as he's getting up to leave, I would have liked to have, like, kind of tapped on the table to try to get Liliana's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can get her attention, give sort of like a tip of the tankard before I drink, and the tip going towards the guy who's been looking at me, just to sort of get her in the know that there's someone watching, taking interest.
She'll take a lot of notice in that. She won't look immediately. And she'll tip to you and take a swig. But when she puts the glass down, she's gonna rest her head in her hand and just side glancing at that table more often than she has been. If more people start to look over and start taking more note of us.
It doesn't seem anybody else from the table has taken note. Even this individual paying less mind to you now, as far as you can tell. They've kind of turned their attention back to their own group.
So Lewin, after tomorrow morning, where are we heading?
Well, I imagine we just keep heading towards Mondale. If that's the only other lead that we have, is that maybe he's got something going on over there. If we get nothing here, then we just keep on course for there. But hopefully, we keep doing that little espionage though that you're doing, then maybe we get a little better, tighter lead.
Sounds like a plan. She's taking very small sips of her drink. She does not really partake in the drink too much. Sober is her game.
Evelina
go ahead.
Evelina's gonna go over to the dude by himself. She's gonna walk up and be like, "You look lonely," and just sit with him.
I've been known to be from time to time. Gary kind of reaches over to shake, just kind of barely looking towards you. By now you see that he has kind of medium length hair, and the hood that kind of is down, hunched up behind his head was covering up what is just like mostly scruff that he has, kind of a short beard. Appears to be human man. He's very now when you see as he kind of just like lightly grins, very friendly eyes, in a kind of a dark brown.
I'm Evelina. It's a pleasure to meet you, Gary.
Garrett, sorry. So
What's your story?
I'm just passing through.
From where to where?
Oh, I was just coming from Sovereign, but to where? I suppose wherever the road takes me. And yourself?
The same, I suppose.
Well, he kind of brings his drink over to you. I don't know if you brought yours with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, to kind of like clink. The travelers.
The travelers.
He kind of like motions over to you. I see you're not alone.
Nope. We seem to have found each other and traveled together.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good.
So what's
Do
your
you really
guys'
have no individual destination?
Well, I was thinking about heading over to Brumlake for Chilton, but who knows what's over there.
I don't know.
Where are y'all headed?
North.
North, yeah. I haven't, well, I have passed through Bowhorn once, but is that where y'all headed?
Is that north of here?
Yeah, I reckon it is.
I just know we're going north.
Yeah, there's a place in Bowhorn. They were good to me there. It was, I had it's pretty good here too. I mean, for a small, nothing village like Middam. I mean, no offense, but it's, pretty good food. I guess that's kind of one of the things I like to do, is just go around and see the good eating. What about you? What's your favorite meal?
I don't remember.
Don't remember.
No. I don't remember anything other than the past 2 days, really.
Shucks, you hit your head or something, or?
Maybe.
It's the most awkward conversation in the world, and I love it.
This feels like a conversation I saw at like a bar at some point in time. It's like
D&D's a dating sim.
Evelina's trying to do recon work and she doesn't know how.
Kind of like lean over to Foxjay. Well, this is awkward. This is painful, actually.
Yeah, if you notice, one side of the table kind of has it figured out. The other side of the bar, no clue. Both.
Oh, right. I don't know.
Play by play. Garrett, strong, silent type. Just a beautiful dude.
Sounds like her type.
I guess it's an opportunity for you to rediscover what you love all over again.
I suppose you're right.
I could order you something if you want, unless you got something over there.
No, that's all right. I'm not hungry.
All right.
Foxjay, you're the one that had a relationship longest out of all of us, I think. How do you save this?
Fucking hell, I don't think there is any saving this. He's like hiding his own face.
It actually is Ocean approached me, much like Avelina approached Am I Garrett?
Liliana, without hesitation, is going to push back her chair and without her drink, and she's gonna beeline to Avelina.
Just grab her and pull her away.
No, she's gonna lean forward to Liliana. Nice to meet you. I'm gonna come steal my friend back. Thank you.
Hey,
and
no
just
problem. It was a pleasure meeting you, Evelina.
You too, Garrett.
What are you doing?
Trying to get information. He didn't have any.
Didn't really ask any information. Got to know him a little bit.
Usually if you want to initiate courtship, then you go hunt a deer or something and you present it. That's usually if you want to show interest. That kind of seemed more so what kind of a conversation
in
you
a
were going
fucking
for.
cave in the woods. No, you know nothing about courtship. Clearly.
Clearly, you're supposed to fight.
Oh, listen, I may be. All right, I may be fucking rough around the edges, mate. But all of you lot know nothing about how to properly court a woman.
Well,
Who said anything
It
about a
seems-
woman?
Also, it seems like you might not have the best luck with that, given our experience going out of town.
Listen, I went way out of my own fucking league to get Sarah. She's a cheating cunt. That's fine. That's another story, right? But I fucking nailed her and I fucking got her, didn't I?
Is it? Lumen, are you perpetually upset because you couldn't bake a decent loaf of bread?
What's that have to fucking do with anything?
She had to go to the bakery, didn't she?
It's a good fucking point. Maybe I need to learn to bake. I gotta up my game to another fucking level. But you know what? I'm kinda out of the dating field now. Doesn't mean I don't still got it. He points over to Farron.
Well, courtship might be a bit more cultural in this case.
It certainly fucking is. A lot.
And
yeah.
I am very sorry that you haven't managed to find a partner that you actually would trust to go hunting with, because that's quite a thing.
You know what? Maybe you're onto something. Maybe I need to find somebody with common interests who doesn't want to be, fucking housewife that fucks the baker.
Lou and I hear Garrett's available.
You're right. I should shoot my shot and show how it's done. He actually gets up. This
is a Does he do this often? I say, looking over at Lily.
Talon just takes a long draught from his stein, from his mug.
Oi,
I do.
Gary. Yeah. Sorry that was real awkward as hell with my friend Evelina and then Liliana coming over and rescuing her. Honestly, I don't think you guys are right for each other. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah. Kind of picked up on that. That's all right. I got no intentions. You don't got to worry about me, partner. I really don't fucking worry about you at all. I do. He kind of leans in a little bit and starts to kind of whisper a little bit quieter. Roll a perception check if anybody would like to try to eavesdrop on their little conversation.
What
I'm not even
is
going to
he
tell you what that
doing?
is.
18.
22.
20.
With the 22 and 20, you're able to glean that he's kind of going straight to the point as far as information that you guys are trying to get. He's kind of
he's teaching them words.
How long you been here? Oh, well, I've been in town. Garrett's not really trying to lower his voice any, so it's easier to hear his response more so than what Lewin is shadily whispering. I've only been here just about a night. So listen, in that night, you've seen anything out there ordinary? I know you're not a fucking Middam local, but something that's unusual for any fucking tiny ass town like this. You see the barkeep is kind of looking at him shakes his head a little bit as he's cleaning a tankard. Yeah, no, not anything that I reckon is out of the ordinary for a village like this. Great. Lewin reaches around and kind of pats him on the shoulder. You were a great lot of fucking help, cunt. It's back over to the table. The guy kind of turns, kind of shakes his head and drinks, takes another bite of potato. Yeah, he doesn't know shit. He's only been here for about a night. We want true information. We're gonna need somebody who's been here for more than a few days. Enough time for a fucking army to make its way out of Silver Ring. And perhaps, maybe, if they went this fucking way, gone through the town. I doubt they went any other way. They could have buggered off for their own little fucking safe passage up through Partha itself, but who knows? We gotta get fucking information. He's just gulps down his
In the
drink.
middle of him going on his rant, Talon is just going to he's out. He's going to stand up, walk over to the barkeep. I'm out. Could I get a refill?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Also, have you seen a group of just Parthens walking through 50 to 100?
No. He just pours you another one.
Can I do an insight check?
Sure can.
That is a nat 19 with 16 for a 25.
For 25. With the 25, you can kind of gather that maybe there's a little bit of tension, him nervous to answer a question like that. To the degree of what he's veiling, you can't necessarily ascertain, but he feels uncomfortable answering that question, it seems.
As Talon reaches north then?
Sorry, what did you say?
North then?
North? Beg your pardon?
Well, seems like you know something. But I'm not going to dig. All I need to know is a direction. North?
Let's just say that they'll be the Brumley's problem.
I'm going to slide 2 gold, and I'm going to go sit down. And kind of whisper to the table and let Slag Tongue know.
The Brumleys. That's what they call the Brumlakefordshires. At least over here. I don't know that you would want to go around fucking Brumlakefordshire itself and say Brumley, but you know. But
how do you not get tongue
answer a
twisted on that?
question? Brumlakefordshire is just what it is.
I've always had an issue with that. Can't say it, nor do I want to.
It seems like they took all the possible. It just seems like they.
This is actually happening.
Fucking humans choose weird names. Whatever. Keep talking.
I think as the story goes, they couldn't fucking decide if they wanted it to be named after the Brum Lake itself, if they wanted it to be a ford, if they wanted it to be a shire, if they wanted it to be a town. Brumlakefordshire, and they couldn't come up with it. Anyways, we got a fucking direction. What we don't got is a fucking bloody head count, and that's part of what we need. Because, I mean, shitheads like this, they get scared about any kind of path, and they see green and they shite themselves. So what we need to know, how fucking many?
While Lewin is on his rant, I want to do a sleight of hand. I want to switch his mug with mine.
Okay, roll a sleight of hand.
23.
23 beats his perception as he's kind of like animated, leaning to talk to each and everybody he doesn't know.
And then I'm going to chug the rest of his beer.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, well, it's good chatting, but I think it's time for me to head to bed for the night. And I'm assuming it's getting close to dark, right?
It's not quite yet, but it's getting there.
Okay. I'm going to go to the bar.
Tucking out early. I know you don't fucking drink like the lot of us, but fucking at least be somewhat social.
I'm tired.
You're tired.
And she's just going to do a little face back to him. And,
yeah, I'm a psychon.
Insight check.
Insight check. Yeah, go ahead with your insight check. Go with your.
No.
You can
Yeah,
go.
Can I also do an insight check? I was waiting. Yeah.
That's a 9.
Yes,
Do
you
I-
can
do
also
I-
do an insight check. Yeah. You'll just roll. Whether it's deception or not, you can kind of determine your DC off of that. Yeah.
21.
So just like as a course of action, whenever a player is inciting another player character, I will always just have you contest that roll whether you're lying or not. That will
Never has
partially
happened to me
determine.
before. I have Rowan. I play Rowan.
It's going to basically be up to you to determine, like, based on that roll. So you rolled a 9. Is that what you said?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you rolled a 9, so you probably wouldn't be able to ascertain anything. So Ali, you can divulge what you will. It was almost obvious to an extent where she was just like, I'm tired. Like, it's just like she's just done with it, kind of thing. I think
She's gonna give a look to Lewin, a look that he could be familiar with in their travels. And I'm gonna go to the barkeep and pay for my own room.
That's going to be for your room. It is a modest say. It will be 5 silver pieces for the night.
5 silver. Okay. And she's just gonna make herself cozy there.
Anybody else fucking tucking out early? We've got fucking work to do. Doesn't mean we can't have fun while we do it. Starts to drink more of his. More of Liliana's drink, more so.
I'm going to put an arm around Lewin, like I'm very jovial and jubilant, and just kind of smash my head up against his, and well, carefully, cause Horn. Hey Lewin, shop features amber eyes at the other table. I have an idea. I can go over with Avelina, stir some things up, try to get a better glean on why he's keeping an eye on us. If you want to man the door, just in case he tries to make a quick escape. But he seems to have a vested interest in at least one of us, or all of us. So Farron's point outside that we don't have time.
I still
I know
think
what-
what you mean in that regard.
I go over, see how he reacts, go accordingly. But we're getting a dead end from everybody else, and he seems to be interested right when we got here.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of like in the same boat as Liliana. I like to sit with my back against the wall, and I like to be able to know what's going on. No? People come in with weapons, you start to get concerned. I understand that. We'll keep an eye on them.
Okay. Oh,
We
wait.
could also take a time for ourselves and get to know each other with a little bit more drink than the sip we had around the campfire.
That's a good fucking idea. He starts to gulp down a little bit more.
Talon is cheersing and going for it too.
So you guys eat anything good lately?
You know, that's a good fucking idea too. He kind of like waves over to the barmaid and he orders himself some meat and potatoes.
I will kind of watch what Lewin is doing and then basically just do what he just did and order the same thing.
It's just a silver piece.
I have to admit, I've never actually gone in one of these before. So,
In a fucking tavern.
not like this, no.
Do you even have like a fucking
Just some
house?
slack.
Do you live in a
Oh,
fucking
God, there's some
tree?
slack.
Or do you live in a fucking cave with like a bedroll? Do you even use a bedroll? What the fuck do you do? Tell me about your fucking life. I'm intrigued.
There's enough of a we use currency. I mean, we're not, but a lot of it
fucking
is
savage.
barter based. Not a fan of that word.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a nasty little stereotype that needs to go away, in my opinion.
Hey. In any case, a lot of what we do is bartering because, I mean, everyone sort of knows everyone, and there are times when we meet up with other settlements nearby. Sometimes people will come and go. There were a lot of folks that would come specifically to try to get some of the equipment that we made, but we're not living in the caves. Gods, I wouldn't want to live in the caves with what's in there, but.
All right. Paint me a fucking picture of your living accommodations up there in the fucking Elflands.
Some of us stayed up in the trees. Some are on the base. We were sort of tucked in on the mountainside. And so we had the cliffs at our back. And some places carved into the stone. Not caves, but homes. It's really beautiful. And everything moved with the land. We tried to pay attention to how things grew and figure out how to grow with it. Of course, now it's all probably a pile of fucking ash, so forgive me if I'm a little reticent with that particular memory.
Fair. If it's not my place to say so, you'll have to forgive me. I've been around for a while, and I think you will best appreciate that in the wild, in nature and forest, ash is it can be a tragic end, but it's also a humble beginning. And I hope we can deliver that for you.
That's why I'm hoping that your what would you call her? The queen cunt. As crude a term as I have learned that is, I do hope that there was some truth to what she said. Having the chance to rebuild on it would be a start.
There's little in the way that she could have done to prevent it, especially with the king cunt still running about with his little wizard dog. But if we accomplish our mission, we help her to dampen the power of the Parthins and all that, all her other enemies. She wants what's best for Xeyhath, all the peoples of Xeyhath, whether you consider yourself Xeyhathian or not. And even on top of that, she wants what's best for Esmond as well. And war is not here. I've seen it. I've done it. It doesn't do it.
It's just hard to fathom how you can do that to someone. I mean, they didn't... It would have been one thing if they would have targeted our warriors. But no, they went for the homes. They went for the elders. They went... And knowing what I know now, I shudder to think what might have happened to the warriors they did manage to get their hands on. It was fucking horrific. And so I don't have any problem firing an arrow if I see a green tabard.
It's the green ones now, but even back then, the blues. I get it, following orders and all that, but like, you gotta be able to fucking think for yourself and be like, no, draw a fucking line. That's part of what got me, the old boot. But I guess you gotta determine for yourself where do you draw the line as far as blaming the soldiers carrying out duties, doing what they're ordered to do, and cunts giving the orders. And if there's one thing I know about how they operate, in regards to your folk and others like you, anybody that stands in their way. Truth be told, this, you may live, but there are no survivors.
Farron, can I ask you a question? And you might not have the answer to. You said that your village specialized in hunting meanlocks, was it?
Not just them. Monsters of any kind. Meanlocks, wyverns, cragcats, owlbears. All sorts of things. Perytons, even. That's, God, those are nasty, nasty creatures.
I can
Don't want to
imagine.
find one of those alone.
It seems in your description of the meanlock. Hides in darkness, teleports around. Seems awfully reminiscent of what we are dealing with presently. Is there any of that wisdom that you could apply to the situation?
Not sure how true it is, but the stories say that meanlocks spawn in darkness and grow out of fear. It attracts them, and they feed off of it. And so I would think that if our enemy is such that he runs and hides and teleports in darkness, would probably want to make people as frightened of him as possible. Make it so that they don't want to try to fight back. But with meanlocks and with other monsters of similar ilk, if you can drag them out into the light, take away the shadows that they hide in, they're a lot easier to deal with then.
All right. That's good enough for me. Thank you. No fear.
No
I'm
fear.
going to look, kind of nod at Farron and look straight at that one guy. See if he's still checking us out.
It seems that he was kind of honed in on Farron.
Wonderful.
Almost as if, like, trying to figure out the context of your guys' conversation. Seeing for a moment that she was kind of distraught, explaining some of that from the past. With your gaze over on him, he kind of like just kind of with a slow blink gleans over to you to meet your eyes, Foxjay, as well. And then just with very subtly, while kind of like leaning on his hands kind of loosely, just kind of taps his the side of his face and rubs his nose and kind of like trails his finger along one of the scars and kind of dismisses you guys, like, eh. Curious, but not that curious kind of thing. He also has kind of pierced ears and then 2 piercings on his right eyebrow and 1 piercing on his other eyebrow, kind of amongst the scars along his face.
No tattoos?
No tattoos.
Farron, you fuck up a guy's face and forget about it?
Have I?
No.
No, I have a pretty good memory for the things that I have hunted or wounded in any capacity. Got some real funny stories from some of the soldiers over the time of coming south.
All right. I'll just keep an eye. I'm not falling asleep.
So DM, can I kind of gather that the tap on the scar, is that almost like you were talking about a creature that I've encountered? Is that sort of what that's
No, it was more
at,
just kind of like it was more of just like a kind of like a, all right, change of thought for himself. There was no kind of like more significance or hinting. It was more of just like a
just fidgeting.
Just a fidget that he did to rechange his focus.
So are the people at that table, did I miss, I'm trying to remember, were they like playing a dice game or something?
Yeah, they seem to be, it seems like they've reached a lull in that. They're not really playing any kind of game at the moment. They're just kind of like just still general chatter, hard to pick up much of anything that they're saying. Sometimes they get a little bit louder, like every now and then, like, I should have seen him, and then just like they kind of like laugh or whatever and make fun of each other here and there. Yep. We're still on that bloke over there with the fucked up face.
He keeps looking over. Do you know what game they're playing?
No, I haven't paid that close attention, not like they seem to be with us. Or at least one of them. I could go ask them.
I was thinking I might.
Oh.
Yeah, all right. And I will
take... What's going on?
Yep, I will take a deep swig and go, here we go. And I will approach their table.
Good luck. Approach their table. One of them, the one that has been looking at you, kind of just like trails you with his eyes, doesn't move his head, still kind of like somewhat veiling his face down, was just kind of like covering his face. He kind of like fidgets a little bit, scratches his nose. The one next to him just seems to be a human fellow, kind of very obviously like trails you as you come up to the table, and he with him kind of like trailing that there's somebody up there, one of the guys next to you that you kind of like come up to the right of kind of like glares over like expecting the bar maid, and it's not, and just kind of like kind of scowls a little bit like, what the fuck do you want? Kind of thing.
Are you gambling, or what you playing over here?
The one to the left of the one that kind of like turned and scowled at you kind of leans forward. Well, it's no gambling when it's with your friends. That's how it is, because, well, I wouldn't want them to, lose all their money. Then they would never be able to take care of me any, And the one across from him just kind of like bats him away. You don't win nothing ever.
So more of a charity case then.
Fucking charity case? No. We just play for funds. What's it to you?
I'm just curious. It looked like a game I hadn't played before, and new to the area, so I thought I might try to pick up a new game to play on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple one, but yeah. What's your angle?
Angle?
Well, nobody comes up to a table without no angle. That's one thing I learned.
Hey, well, might be interested in learning what the people around here know. You all look like you might have seen some things in your travels. You can usually pick up stories over a friendly game.
The one with the scar, face scars, kind of like leans up, finger across the chin.
Why don't you leave us be? We don't know nothing.
Does that voice seem familiar at all?
No, not the
No.
voice itself. There's a hint of an accent there.
Any kind of idea of regional accent where that person might be from?
It's a very muddled accent. It seems like most of it has gone, but it does have a hint of a not necessarily your locale, but a further western locale. There's just like a hint of it, but it's mostly just sounds like human common, but with just like a touch of an accent. With that, Lewin
Can I
kind of
hear
like
that?
comes over.
We're making new friends, are we? What's going on? What we got going on here?
Oh, well, certainly trying. But it looks like some folks aren't very interested in swapping stories over some dice. Shame.
Well, I did ask you what your angle was, and you kind of fluttered about that question. Angle? Mate, what are you on about? We got no angle. We're just here to make friends like the lot of them. Yeah, make friends with strangers. Listen, you look like a group of travellers, right? So are we. Humble, sticking to clever. That's what you gotta do. Don't help to know that there's other travels of like mind and like ability out there that could possibly, were we to cross paths again, help each other out.
And I will point to Lewin as the one who probably has a higher charisma score and go, hey, what he said.
Yeah, friends, we've got all the company we need. Go
Can
back
I-
to your own table.
Am I hearing this? I haven't left
Sure.
the table, but could I hear this?
Sure, yeah, because it's been quiet enough, like with them dulling down, like just 15 feet away, you'd be able to hear the conversation because they're having to speak to each other.
Okay. Kind of listening to this and how like standoffish this fellow maybe. Then keep your attention to your own party.
Just kind of
Can I get kind of like a vibe check for why he's so adamant that we leave? Like why he's so off put? Is it me in
Roll an
particular,
insight.
or
Roll
is
an
it
insight
anyone
check.
approaching?
Seem to be most keen on you for whatever reason, but roll an insight
Okay.
check.
Insight, that is a total of 18.
I gave you guidance before you left
Oh,
the table.
that's right. Thank you. 22.
With the 22, it seems to be somewhat tied to between your chitin bow and also very obvious elvenness, especially with the markings as well. Something about that has caught his curiosity. I would say from that you can also kind of glean that there is definitely some elvish in him, as was suspected, but probably not full-on wild elf like yourself. It's probably some mixture of half-elf.
Best of luck, then, in your travels.
No. Wait a fucking minute. We just trying to make some friends. Friends help each other out. We can do this, the old-fashioned way. Anybody want a drink? Nobody wants a fucking drink, mate. Move along. Well then, if there's one thing I learned in all my days of being a ruffian, and you lot look like a group of fucking ruffians, just like us. Your friend here kind of motions to the other ones and then kind of just like points at the one with the face scars. Been awful curious about our conversation. I know what it's like, you know. You're a group of adventurers, you come in, you got your fucking armed to the teeth. That's what you do. Protect yourself, right? So you're keen when another group similar to your own walks right in, right? But this was more than that, right? You're eyeing her like she's like some kind of fucking ghost you fucked once. So what is it?
Hey, Holson. I love the Lewin monologue, and I bet he's getting very exasperated. So, like, in the midst of that, could I have all of them make a wisdom saving throw?
Go ahead. Let me pull that.
Charisma saving throw, excuse me.
Charisma saving throw.
Uh, 15.
Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's 4 failures, 2 successes.
So, the wooden table gets
in
like...
the order of it, with the 6 of them, the 2 successes were the 2 facing you guys, one being the face scarred one, and the one next to him. The other 4 all failed.
Okay. I tap our table, and it goes down the wood grain, down to the floor, up the wood grain, kind of sparkles just around the table. I cast Zone of Truth while Loon was speaking. So, to be fair, an affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie. Such a creature can be evasive in its answers as long as it remains within the boundaries of the truth. Now, I don't know the kind of knowledge base of magic within that sort of space, so it might be just like a confusing thing. But just to be full transparency, they have to tell the truth for 10 minutes.
Listen, I didn't mean any trouble with my gazing. I'm just surprised to see one of her kind all the way over here.
And that's all. No malice out of it.
No malice, friend.
You'll have to forgive us for strong-arming a bit. You understand why we might be a little tetchy. Especially if you understand why it's strange for me to be here.
I have some sort of idea.
How much of an idea?
Well, let's say it runs in the family.
Aye, that's fair.
One of the ones that failed. Yeah, he's actually fucking half elf. Half fucking wild elf, yeah, just like yourself, yeah? You hadn't got all the markings and stuff, so I reckon a different tribe or something like that. he just kind of like glares at the other guy.
Well, for what it's worth, it's not often that I'm able to find any brethren of mine. An initial tie like that could go a long way. It's best to stick together with things like that, but again, not to push where I'm not wanted.
You lot are full of fucking conversation, are you?
Well, honestly, we're just kind of, off put. It's very standoffish right now. I'm uncomfortable, honestly.
As you should be.
As we should
why
be.
we-
That's a sort of threat.
Promise if you keep your peepers to yourself.
You know what we fucking need?
If I've learned anything, as I was saying, ruffians and ruffians and ruffians, it's that one way to build fucking camaraderie and rapport with someone.
He pulls out both of his axes and then slams them into the wood stump of the table.
It's a good old fucking brawl.
He takes the guy next to him. This guy falls over and stands up with that the elven or half elven figure with the scars in his own, kind of like looks at his men and then looks at you guys. The one next to him looks over to him. They all just kind of like look at each other like quickly as the other one's like, ugh.
Oh, for fuck's sake,
And that
Lewin.
guy stands up. He pulls out his sword and like starts to turn it to Lewin, like to take his sword to him. Lewin like grabs his hand and just like guy like he's like wrestling him with it a little bit. And he kind of turns to like his guys and like, are you gonna help me? This guy just decked me randomly. And the guy next to the face scarred gentleman kind of looks at him just baffled. And everybody's just kind of like in this weird standoff as the guy's like struggling with Lewin. The half elven scarred figure stands up. 2 daggers. Slams them into that wood stump.
Now we got a fucking brawl.
He starts to, with that, he kind of like twists the sword out of the guy's hand, and with that elbows him kind of in the face, but more of just kind of like pushes him away, and then with that reverse grip stabs that sword into the wood block. The other figures immediately stand up and they all just throw their weapons basically into this stump and begin to tussle.
So question. Sorry, question. Have we been like can I count a short rest?
I would say you've been that long enough that you could get a short rest and short.
Bet it is on.
Like the apprentice's training yard all over again. I'll just kind of sling the bow over the back so that it's not like within use, but I'll put my quiver with the arrows on the table. I'm not letting the bow out of my sight, but I will put the arrows on the table.
Copy that.
And I will fuck it. I'll go punch the guy next to me.
Who are you aiming for?
Just whoever's closest.
Well, at this point, it would technically be your half-elf compadre at this point. So he's kind of like geared up, ready to hit you back. He's kind of got like his head tilted down and kind of like glaring through his eyebrow rings there. Go ahead and roll an attack. It would be an unarmed strike.
That is 15 to hit.
15 does hit.
Does hit.
Does hit.
Okay, that is 1 point of damage.
1 point of damage. With that, you kind of like come in with a strike to the side. He lowers his guard a little bit and then swings back around to attempt to strike you as well. That is going to be a 15 to hit.
15 does not hit.
15. With that, you're able to slip out of the way a little bit. Before we get deeper into this, we're gonna take a break. Oh no, baby, I'm sorry, baby puppy. Yeah, we'll take a break and we'll come back. We'll actually roll some initiative. I will call out those initiatives for everybody who would like to participate in this. Hi, creature. I know, attention time. I know, you need all of it. Look at that. Look at this creature. She's like, Father, the attention, I need it.
Not a single thought behind those eyes.
Just attention, please. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll be right back. We'll take 12 to 15. Oh, creature. And we'll be right back with some initiative and a little bit of a bar brawl. And creature, I will give you the attention. Let me switch it. Okay. I know, you're a creature. Okay. Okay, I was speaking to your ear directly so that you know all of the attention is yours. Okay, we'll be back.